Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I've spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Nine of Wands, and it is here because it corresponds in astrology with the sun's transit, the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit in the land of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. Wands and Tarot are fire element symbolism, and fire element symbolism has to do with drive, momentum, taking initiative, the desire to take action, the action that you're taking, like the literal fire, stamina, and endurance that goes into taking action, and sort of also, reflecting on the achievements that we have made so far. So here we are at the Nine of Wands, and this person is clearly reflecting on the achievements they've made so far. They've stacked them up all very nicely. The most recent one is here in my hands, and this is you see this person has a bandage on their head. It looks like their sleeves are rolled up. They may look a little tired, a little defensive. This is an indication that we have come a long way. We're well practiced at what it is that we do. We've made many accomplishments, and we're not quite finished yet. Okay, so it's a moment where we may feel like we would like to stop, or we would like to slow down, or we would like to take a rest, sort of like the tortoise and the hare, right? But we realize there's only just a little way more to go, and we've come this far. We're going to go ahead and push on through to the next thing. Okay, so if there's a defensiveness about this, it's just like, heaven forbid, all of this staff. All of these staffs should fall down before I finish my adventure, my endeavor here. Okay, so with a nine, we're always coming close to the end of a cycle. So this person realizes that they're almost there, but they're not quite there, and they're going to engage the stamina, engage the energy, the drive, the determination it takes to go ahead and follow through and finish up what they started. And I'm going to throw that card. We have the Page of Cups. Okay, yes. So this is a nice card. So we have cups. Cups is water element symbolism. Water element symbolism is about our thoughts, not our thoughts so much as our feelings and our intuitions, what it feels like to be us, and what comes up in terms of information when things feel a certain way to us. So with the Page of Cups, we have sort of a junior member of royalty. Okay, this person would act as sort of a messenger or a liaison, or sort of a peacekeeper between families, right? And very much represented as a youthful figure. So the Page of Cups is somebody who has some practice at this point, listening to their feelings, listening to their emotions, listening to what the intuition is telling them, what's coming up, calm the mind so we can, so that we can feel what's going on in the heart and the body, and so that we can sort of listen to what Spirit is telling us. And the Page of Cups has practice at this, and this curiosity comes up, sort of information coming in from the source of emotional investment, from the source of intuition. There's this figure that pops up out of the cup. Do you see it? It's a little fish. and and the page is looking directly at the fish, like looking the fish in the eye. If the fish has an eye, they're looking in the eyes. They're looking right at one another. So this is, an indicator to me that this person is listening to what their instincts are telling them, what their intuitions are telling them, listening to what their feelings are telling them, and they're sort of partaking in that wisdom, like. They have some practice working with their intuition. You see the water behind them. There's some ripples, but no real waves. It's pretty calm. It's pretty flat surface. So, this is a state of emotional calm that we can get into, where we can then get interested in what it is that our intuition is telling us. And that's what I see there is a person who is very calmly interested in what's going on in their cup, or and when I refer to that cup, I'm thinking about that bottomless well of love, emotional investment, good faith effort that we're willing to put into things. Okay, so being in tune with what's going on in there is a really good start. And a page usually lacks experience. Pages are fairly youthful, so they're a little bit reflections of the fool. They're just sort of starting out in life, but what they lack in experience, they make up for in skill, perhaps, or they make up for in enthusiasm, or they make up for in just a willingness to do that deep dive and find out what's going on in the emotional space and in the intuitive space. So where do we see this on the page? Well, I really want to be encouraging people right now to remember that Neptune and Jupiter are essentially conjunct here in the land of Pisces. Now, Jupiter, close to solstice, is going to go back into Aries, and then I'm not going to count them as conjunct at that time because they're in different signs. They're in different lands. Jupiter's going to cross the border, but right now they're still right here together. Neptune is very much this Page of Cups vibe. Neptune is the well of that bottomless well of emotional investment that we have to give, of friendship, of love, of connection that we have to give, and sort of that bottomless well of connection from which we derive the information that Spirit is sending along, or derive the information about how things feel to our hearts and our minds, in the backs of our mind, in our guts, in the backs of our minds. So, Neptune is very much about the intuition. It's about creativity, our creative capacity, and it's in Pisces right now. So it's also very much about our connection to Spirit. All right. So you have to get quiet. You have to have a calm emotional disposition so that you can get in touch with what Spirit is talking to you or telling you, or get in touch with what's going on in your gut and in your heart. And Neptune is right here with Jupiter in Pisces too. They're both rulers of Pisces. Okay, Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, and so it's also thinking about expanding, making room within ourselves, within our hearts and minds, for more intuitive information to come in, for more emotional information to come in, about opening ourselves up to bigger, broader connections at this time, connections that will spur us on to the greatness we imagine for ourselves. And taken together with the Nine of Wands. It strikes me that the page is really just sort of getting started, and the Nine of Wands is coming to an end. So this may be sort of a harbinger of the near future, where we can wind up this 8, 9, 10 of Wands sojourn, right? We come to the end of the Wands sort of drama in the tarot, and having come to the end of that sort of mode of collecting achievements as a way to sort of prove to ourselves and the world what we are capable of, perhaps the next thing, the new beginning, has something more to do with intuitive and emotional investment. Or perhaps, now is a time to be starting to think about how we're getting close to the end of this journey. And so it's really time to quiet the mind. This person's got a worried mind. It's really time to think about quieting the mind and getting interested, not in what happened before, not in how much more has to be done, but getting interested in what is going on in our hearts and what it is that we want for ourselves in the future. What the intuitive data is telling us, what the emotional data is telling us about what the next journey looks like. You don't have to, get to the end of the journey before you start thinking about the next journey. Hopefully we don't do that most of the time. Sometimes we do. Sometimes you come to it and you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen next. We'll just have to see. But this has taken a lot of work and struggle. So surely we can begin at this point to start to have some kind of idea what our heart is telling us about what we would like to do next. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.